Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and yesterday Apple released watchOS 26 Beta 7. watchOS 26 Beta 7 released to developers, and then today Apple released watchOS 26 Public Beta 4. They're the same thing, just sometimes delayed a little bit to make sure there's no additional issues. Now this came in at a fairly small 352 megabytes on my Apple Watch Ultra 2, and along with this Apple also released many other updates. iOS 26 Beta 7, iPadOS 26 Beta 7, updates for tvOS, HomePodOS, visionOS, as well as macOS. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the build number and talk about what's new. So we'll go on to the watch here and take a look at settings, then we'll go down to general and then about. And as you can see, the build number is 23R5346A. And this particular update brings one major feature back to Apple Watch, specifically in the United States if you had a Series 9, Series 10, or Apple Watch Ultra 2, where you bought it after January of 2024 and you didn't have the blood oxygen feature. So that feature has been added back in just like they did last week with iOS 18.6.1 and watchOS 11.6.1. But I wanted to clarify a few things. So originally this didn't work with Beta 6 of iOS 26, but now it works properly. The way Apple has implemented this is sort of a workaround, so it measures it on the watch and then calculates the information on the iPhone. So what you can do is place this on your wrist just like this and go into blood oxygen. So we'll just scroll up here and go into blood oxygen, and you'll see that we now have the option to start. So if I go ahead and tap start, we'll give it 15 seconds to measure that, and then we can check it in the health app on the iPhone. So again, we'll give it a few more seconds here. And on the iPhone, you can see that it recorded 97% at 3:10 p.m. So it's working properly, it's calculating it here, and it will do passive calculations in the background, so if you sleep, you'll see that information here. However, I don't believe you'll see it in your Vitals app or anything on the watch itself. However, those using other versions of Apple Watch, or maybe you bought them before January, they still have it on the watch itself, and this is due to a patent dispute between Apple and another company. So you'll see this one here. This is the original Apple Watch Ultra 2, released when it first came out. So if we go down to blood oxygen here, we'll go into it, and you'll see that we can just start. We'll let it measure here, and you'll see it measured this one directly on the watch. So this update will not affect your older watches or any that already had it. This will also work with watchOS 11.6.1. As you can see here, if we go again into our settings on this one, this is an Apple Watch Series 10. And if we scroll down to settings, again, go to general and then about, you'll see that information here. So this one is on watchOS 11.6.1 and again has that blood oxygen feature where we can measure it but use the phone to calculate it. So again, we'll go up here, go to blood oxygen, and you'll see we have the option. So it will work now with iOS 26 Beta 7. Again, if you're on an older watch that already included it, or if you're outside the United States and you had that feature, nothing changes at all. It's only on the Series 9, Series 10, and Apple Watch Ultra 2 sold after January in the United States, January 2024 in the United States. So just keep that in mind. As far as other new features, well, there isn't a whole lot here, but there is a new activity challenge that Apple is launching on the 24th of August. So you can see here, National Parks Apple Watch Activity Challenge launching August 24th. If we scroll down, you can see the different badges you can earn or awards you can earn, and that'll be available. I'll link this in the description, but basically it says Apple Watch owners can earn an Apple Watch Activity Award by doing a workout that lasts for 20 minutes or more on August 24th, 2025. So they're adding this new activity challenge. Also, one other thing I wanted to mention that's not necessarily about Apple Watch, but if we go into the Wallet app, you'll see under driver's license and ID cards, you now have the option for Montana. So Montana is a state you can add. If you live in Montana, you can use this as a digital driver's license. So that's something that was added today. Now, as far as bugs and bug fixes, if we go into the control center, you'll see it works fine now. So everything is showing up. We don't have any blank icons, and I haven't seen this at all with Beta 7, so it seems to be working just fine. Of course, some of these icons may not be as glass-like, or maybe they're less translucent, but either way, there is a nice update here where it actually works this time around. And then, of course, we have the water eject option, which some people said wasn't working properly, but if we go ahead and try to unlock this, you'll see it works fine, but again, we can press and hold or turn it, and it will activate the ejecting water sort of sound here to get water out of the speakers. So those things have been updated. Everything else actually is working pretty well for me. So if we go here, we've got our different stacks. They work fine. Everything's working as expected when it comes to that. As far as the actual release notes, well, Apple did update this on their public-facing release note website. And as we scroll down through, there's quite a few things to note. There's 16 categories of resolved issues and 8 categories of known issues. So you'll see things such as Apple Intelligence resolved, model quality output degrades after extended repeated interface of the same adapter. That's something that's been updated. They've resolved issues with the Hermes watch earlier on, with Beta 2, and other things all throughout. So if you're having an issue, make sure you check the release notes. You can also check those in the feedback app. So if we go into feedback, give it a second to load, go into recent activity, you'll see the different watch information here. So if you're having some issues, be sure to check this first. If it's not listed here, then go ahead and report some feedback. As far as when to expect the next release, well, based on what we've been seeing, I would expect it as soon as next week. We could see it on the 25th with either Beta 8, so iOS 26 Beta 8, watchOS 26 Beta 8. However, we could see an RC or release candidate. We're getting very close to a final release, and based on that, we probably could have a final release around the 15th of September. We expect an Apple event probably on the 8th or 9th of September, with invites going out fairly soon, maybe next week or so. And then the pre-order of the iPhone is expected to be around the 12th, with them releasing it to the public on the 19th. Around the time we'll also expect Apple Watches. So we do expect all of those things releasing. Now, as far as if you should install watchOS 26 Beta 7 or Public Beta 4, if you're on one of these updates here already, I would definitely install it on your Apple Watch if you're already on the beta. However, if you're on watchOS 11.6.1 and you want to try out the beta, you can do that, but just keep in mind that you cannot downgrade without bringing it to an Apple store. So that's something that could get in your way. However, it seems to be fairly stable so far. So overall stability seems to be good, but I would caution against upgrading to the beta unless you know what you're getting into there. As far as performance, well, performance seems to be nice and fast. I've shown you that throughout. If we go into an app I don't normally load, you'll see it was nice and fast. If we go down maybe to something else, we'll go into noise here, see how fast that loads. You'll see it's working pretty quickly. Basically what you would expect on any version. So everything overall is pretty good that way. If we take a look at the battery life or battery health as well, let's go down to battery here. So we'll continue to scroll down, go to battery health. Again, this is an Apple Watch Ultra 2, and we have 100% capacity. So it's doing pretty well there. And as far as battery life, well, it's at 100%. It hasn't been off the charger long. This watch is a Series 10 that's been off the charger with watchOS 11.6.1 for over a day, and we're down to 34%. So depending on what version, I don't know that the betas are going to last as long, but they're seemingly getting the over a day of use, at least on my Apple Watch Ultra 2. So that's everything with watchOS 26 Beta 7. I don't expect many features to change at this point since we're really close to a final release. So if we do see something, it would be last minute. And I do think this is pretty much what watchOS 26 will be like. But let me know what you think of watchOS 26 in the comments below. And of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.